Welcome. My name is Ron Thompson. I'm chairman of the executive committee of the Pickens County Republican Party, and want to welcome everybody to the contested Republican candidate debate tonight. We're going to kick this off. I'm going to ask Pastor Jake Travel to come up and do the invocation. Then we'll do the pledge, and then we'll get on with this whole event tonight. So if everybody will please stand, I'll invite Jake over to do it.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. God, we ask your blessings on these proceedings, on this debate, on these candidates, and all of us in attendance. Let us be reminded of your word, where it's written that all authority comes from you, and those in positions of authority are placed there by you. God, I pray that we would all be filled with a desire to do your will by electing those who desire to do your will. And finally, God, we thank you for the privilege to live in and your many blessings on this great nation, the United States of America. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please start and face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we get started, I got a few announcements to make. First off, I want to introduce all the local candidates that's running for office that's not up here at the tables because they have no competition this time in the May election. Rick Jasper is running for state representative, our own District 11. I got Connie Craig, who is our Sergeant at Arms tonight, running for County Sheriff. Sue Finley, who's running for the Board of Education, Post 4. Alan Wigington, who's running for the Chief Magistrate. I don't think he's in town. Becky Denny, who's running for Post 2 Commissioner.
Her husband had surgery.
Okay. All right, Becky 6, brother. David Lindsay, who's running for Probate Judge. I know he's out of town. I talked to him this week. Jennifer Jordan, who's running for the Clerk of the Superior Court. She's today's her anniversary, and she's got better things to do, I think, tonight. She said so. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I tried to get everybody. All the individuals here are contested. They're going to do their introductions later. I want to introduce the executive committee for the GOP in Pickens County also, because they do a lot of work in the background, making these events happen and creating opportunities that we have. Bart Conley, Tara Cannon, Tim Bowman, Stephen Hall, Kimberly Hofstadler, Bill Horton. Coordinators of tonight's event is Miss Carolyn Childers and Will Bell. Thank you. Your MC tonight for the questions will be Craig Stallings. We got two candidates running for the tax commissioner who are also in executive committees, which is David Leister and Darrin Satterfield. Just a couple more announcements, then we're going to get this thing kicked off. We are sponsoring a dodgeball tournament on May 14th at the Pickens County Rec Center. It's $40 a team. The benefits go to Special Olympics of Pickens County. Okay, all you candidates who are opposed, get you some teams up, go out there and throw some balls at your opponents. We do have one team from the 9th District that's out there, so do that. Also, that's on May 14th, Saturday. Saturday, June 18th, also at the Pickens County Rec Center, we have the Pickens County Tomato Sandwich Fiesta. We'll have most of the candidates around committed to come in to speak that day also. This will be probably had got commitments out of all of them, but Doug Collins was there last year. We also had Tom Graves from over in the 14th district. So we had Brian Kemp last year. So we have a lot of individuals coming out to speak at that. So make plans to come out and visit with that. Early voting starts May 2nd. Get out and vote and through. There's one Saturday on May 14th is for that. Okay. For the rules tonight, we got together, we set down some rules tonight. So this is the rules of the debate. Turn off or mute your cell phones, please. I'm guilty of that. We are not taking any questions from the floor. We took all the questions beforehand so we could vet them and get all the common questions out there. We're asking the candidates to stick to the issues of the questions that's being asked. And please, this is not a Republican presidential debate. No personal attacks. Craig will cut you off at the legs about the time you do that. So that's all I have. I'm going to turn this over for the next couple of hours, 2.5 hours, Mr. Craig Stallings to manage the debate. And good luck to everybody. Craig, come on up.
Thank you, Ron. Thanks everybody for being here. A couple of rules. No name calling, no rooting, no gouging, no eye poking. All right, we good with that? All right, I want to introduce everybody here. If y'all will just stand up when I call your name, and then we'll have opportunity to have 3 minutes. So, Katherine White, if you will stand and tell us who you are, please.
Do you need a microphone? Or no?
You probably will want that.
Credit to the center.
Yeah, just come on over there.
Perfect.
Everybody will come and go to the podium.
Okay.
You got 3 minutes.
Thanks.
We're gonna make sure. All right, good.
All right, thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate all of you coming out because I really feel like voting is a very important privilege that we have as Americans. So having this many people out here is so encouraging to me because I really thought that we were going to have a room that was a little less crowded. So I'm very appreciative of you all coming out. I am Katherine White. I am not from Jasper, but as a friend told me, I got here as quick as I could. I'm from Peachtree City. I graduated from McIntosh High School. I went to the University of West Georgia where I graduated with a degree, Bachelor of Science of Education, and my concentration was early childhood education. I'm married to my wonderful husband Joe, who's here today, and I have 3 beautiful children. Reagan attends Jasper Middle School, Reese goes to Hill City, and my son Ridge goes to the First Baptist Preschool. So I have lots of little ones go big and small. I was a teacher for 14 years. Teaching was the only thing I ever grew up wanting to do, and recently there was some things going on in some of I worked in Fulton County, and it just was not a place that I was thinking that it was a good place to be. There was the Common Core and some of the things that I couldn't really change was happening, and I stepped away. I work for a company that is the accountant education, the CPA education now, and I was approached a few times from people in the community to run for the board, and I kept saying, no, I'm not a politician, I'm just a teacher, I can't run for that, that's not me. But there was just, and a lot of the things I did dislike were, state and federal mandates that I knew I couldn't change. But after talking to lots of people in the community, talking to lots of teachers, and talking to a lot of parents, there were some things I did decide that I could help with change. And I would be more than happy to work really hard for the students of our school, for the parents of our system, for the teachers of our system. There's things that I think that we can do to make our county even better than it already is. I don't know. Do I have? Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay. Good job.
Thank you.
They're talking up 30 minutes.
I know that said 0 there. I thought you could.
Well, see, here's the thing. Sitting up here and coming out of work, so I'm sitting here, I'm fitting it the whole time, I'm just checking.
Oh, I hope it didn't see how many flaps are in, because that was the.
Yeah, about 12.
Thank you.
Okay, Larry Cantrell. Come on up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Larry Cantrell. I'm a lifelong resident of Pickens County. I've been married to Angie Cantrell for 52 years. My wife taught in the public school system for 32 years and retired and serving as long-term substitute position over the last 7 years. We have 2 daughters that graduated from the local school system. We have 2 grandchildren. If I'm elected, I'd like to see more integrated working relationship between the teachers who are our real experts, the superintendent's office, and the Board of Education. We're a small rural community in the foothills of North Georgia. We need to rely on what we know, and we need to depend on the local talents we have. Since announcing my candidacy, I've learned that a growing number of the teachers do not feel they've been supported by their administrators. This has to change. We cannot sit idle while we lose teachers to neighboring systems. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That might have been a record. Mike Cowart?
Thank you. My name is Mike Cowart, and I want to thank everyone for being here. When I ran the last time, we never had a crowd this big, so I'm really proud of all of you. A couple of things. I'm very proud of what the school board has done while I've been on it the last 4 years. A few highlights about the things that we've accomplished. Number one is our tax digest has went down, yet we have kept the millage rate exactly the same. We have changed the way we budgeted things. We did everything that we could to make sure the taxpayers didn't feel the burden of that. I'm very proud of that. That's what I ran on when I first ran for the school board, and that part has come true. We've had no millage rate increase. I don't want another one. I think that we need to get the state to continue to help us fund our school system in our county the way that it should be funded. If we're going to have public schools, let's fund them the way they need to be funded. Right now, this year, you, our local taxpayers, are funding 54% of our budget. The state is funding 46%. It is one of the primary goals of mine to get it to where we get more of an equalization again. A long time ago, it used to be the other way around. It gets harder and harder and harder to get state mandates without them being funded. This year, we did get some of our austerity cuts given back to us. The governor wants us to give the teachers a 3% raise. The fact is, in preliminary estimates, we're going to get about $700,000 extra this year. That will only fund almost 1% raise. So it's almost there. It's getting there. Just make sure everyone checks the facts when they hear people like me, the politicians, saying one thing, but check the facts, see exactly what it really is. But I'm very proud of all of our teachers going through all the changes that we have had over the last 4 years with their teaks and leaks programs and all that, and all the state mandates on all that. We've got it now to where if the governor will sign it, we get some of that control back now. I want it to be to where Pickens County can control what happens with our teachers. Thank you.
Well, whoever wins out of this, I just hope y'all can keep the boys out of the girls' room. Mark Godfrey.
It's not working.
Now it is.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thanks everybody for coming. It's nice to see all these familiar faces here, that people we've known and worked with and worked for and talked to over the years. My name is Mark Godfrey. I've lived in Pickens County almost all my 60 years. Married to Karen for 35 years. She's a transplant. She got here as quick as she could when we got married in 1981, so she's qualified. And then we have a son, Matthew, who's a product of the local school system, and he turned out pretty well. He's a DEA agent in Atlanta, has a college degree from Valdosta State. But for most of the length of my working life, I've took part in public service, either with the school system as a teacher, a coach, an administrator, or working in retail in the Walmart or other stores. I always had a life of service, and I'm trying to continue that now, and I think I got that from my parents. Why did I decide to run for coroner now, age 60, when I should be retired with my wife? In my life, I've tried to establish a certain amount of consistency, a stable work environment and work profession, and I think that needs to be commonplace in politics. And you know, we talk about the presidential elections, we make our jokes, but when it comes right down to it, it's who do you trust and who do you like enough to trust? Basically, that's it. Regardless of all the facts and figures and qualifications, it's who do you trust and who do you like enough to trust? And I just hope you like me more and trust me more than my opponent. If you do, then we'll be successful. And if you trust me with that, then at the end of 4 years, hopefully, it'll be worthwhile. I am passionate about becoming coroner. It's something that is really means a lot to me now. In the last 6 months of my life, I've had a lot of conditional changes. And we all go through changes in our lives, and you're never too old to have changes. When people encounter one of the darkest days of their life and somebody has to come and talk to them about a death in their family, I would hope that someone is a lot like me. I would hope I could talk to someone like me. And I'm not bragging when I say that. I consider myself a caring individual who understands life's problems, because we've all had them, I've had them, you've had them. I humbly ask for your support and your vote on Election Day. I will strive to bring to the office the integrity and the enthusiasm that the citizens of Pickens County deserves, and following the current coroner, that's going to be a hard task. He's been coroner for 12 years, the deputy coroner for 4 years. It's a total of 16 years. And I consider it an honor to be working for him. Thank you very much.
Bradley McKinney. We have a technical difficulty right here. Well,
I didn't touch it, Brad.
your timer decided to
Time out.
went Luke Shuby on us here, buddy.
Operator error.
More than likely.
Hey, I'm not checked out on this machine, okay?
No, the technical guru standing here before you. We call him Scrapyard because he still has lots of shrapnel in him.
That starts it. That reset.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My name is Bradley McKinney, and I am a Republican candidate seeking the office of coroner in Pickens County. I've been a resident of Pickens County since 2008. I am married to the former Tony McFarland. I have 2 sons, Jim and Kevin, and 1 little beautiful granddaughter, the love of my life. First of all, I'd like to thank the people at Chattahoochee Technical College for allowing us to have this here tonight. I appreciate and thank the Republican Party of Pickens County who organized this. I thank the candidates for being here and participating. But most of all, I thank the citizens of Pickens County coming out and being interested in finding out more about their candidates who are seeking public office. And hopefully you will see, after this is over with, I have brochures, and it spells out my qualifications, and I think I'm more than qualified to handle the duties of the Pickens County Coroner's Office. First of all, the training I've had, I am a United States Army veteran. And what I did when I was in service, we did in, the older Jim's gonna know this, is Gray's registration. Okay, I've also completed the coroner's course, basic course, twice. I couldn't train me right one time, so they trained me twice, in 1989 and 2008. Of course, there's a lapse in service, my service time as coroner. And have also completed every certification class since then, except for the years that I didn't serve as coroner. Also graduated from Guthrie Jones College of Funeral Service, where we had courses in anatomy, pathology, microbiology, and chemistry. And that has helped me over the years, and I've also served in the funeral profession for 44 years. Experience as coroner, I was appointed deputy coroner in 1989 by the Honorable Forrest Siss, which was coroner of Lumpkin County. I served as elected coroner in Lumpkin County from 1993 to 2007, which is 3 terms. And I also have served from 2008 to the present, appointed deputy coroner in Pickens County by the Honorable Kevin Roper, a total of over 20 years. If elected, I promise the citizens of Pickens County to uphold the office of coroner to very high standards, to handle every situation in a professional, caring, and personal manner.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay. Experience matters.
Now, these next 2 guys I got to work with, so y'all be nice to them. We got Darrin Satterfield. Come on.
First of all,
You want to start with this?
First of all, thank everyone for this opportunity to meet with you this evening. I'm Darrin Satterfield, candidate for the Pickens County Tax Commissioner. I was born in Savannah, Georgia, and graduated from Parker High and attended Greenville Technical College. I currently serve as your Chief Deputy Tax Commissioner for Pickens County. I have worked in the Tag and Tax Office for over 9 years. I started off as a Tag and Title Clerk. As a Tag and Title Clerk, I thoroughly enjoyed the interaction with the public and assisting them with their needs. Even helping the elderly and disabled by putting their license plates on their vehicles and even sometimes going to their homes to assist them. During that time, I've also managed all the dealer work. Over 3 years ago, I was asked to manage the delinquent tax collections. While serving in this position, I'm delighted to say we're at almost 99% collections. During this time, I continued my training in Athens and completed 4 years of classes at UGA for the Georgia Association of Tax Officials. While serving in the tax office, I have worked for and assisted in the development of the following projects: development of website for online payments and taxes, implementation of credit card payments, help train the staff to provide better customer service. If elected, I will work to install kiosks in various locations in the county for self-service tag renewals, continue to reduce wait times in the tax office through technology improvements, set up an after-hours drop box for payments, continue to improve our rate collection, and our team will always continue to offer excellent customer service. I humbly ask for your vote on May 24th as your next Pickens County Tax Commissioner. I may be new to politicking, campaigning, but I'm not new to the Tag and Tax Office. I've been there almost 9 years, and I love our work, I love the people, and I hope you'll vote for me on May 24th to serve.
David Leister.
Hi, everyone. My name is David Leister. and I'm running for tax commissioner. We're all up here to tell you a little bit about ourselves, and most of you don't know me unless you've seen me at school events with my children or looked at the progress or knows Pickens when I was mayor of Nelson. You really don't know me. I didn't grow up here, and I'm a private person, so I don't get out and socialize as much as I should, considering I'm running for public office. I have 4 children, ranging in ages from 13 to 25. 2 of them are in the Pickens school system. The other 2 are off getting their lives started. For me, I started working when I was 15 years old. I've worked as a grocery clerk, a fiscal clerk for the state of Maryland. I've worked for Six Flags Over Georgia. These things, along with being the mayor of Nelson, Human Resources, have given me a perspective on public and private policies. My biggest concern is that in the ideology in the local government in Nelson, and to a degree here in the Pickens County, is it's okay to interpret the law. And that's wrong, in my opinion. Now, it can be done for good cause. And frankly, I don't have a complaint, well, I do have one complaint. I don't have any complaints other than one regarding the tax office, my opponent. I just feel that there are procedures in place right now that are detrimental to the financial well-being of the county. Because with the advent of the internet, people see a lot. And should these things be contested, the county will have to pay. And if you're wondering who the county is, it's not some invisible entity, it's you. And that's something I'm trying to help avoid. Now, I have to touch briefly on my opponent. No one that supports me will be calling him any type of name if I know about it. He's a good man. But I would like to say that's the same. And so far, I'm not able to say that. So that's it. Thank you.
Bill Newton.
Well, for those of y'all who don't know me, I am Bill Newton. And I've been here since in Pickens County since the early 50s. My family moved here from LJ, Georgia. My dad was a deputy sheriff, and we lived in the old jail on Main Street for 4 years. Then I went to Pickens School. I graduated from Pickens High School. I actually graduated here from Pickens Technical College. The first, I guess it was the second year it was open because it was more than a year's class. After graduating, I went in the United States Army. I was stationed at the Pentagon. I was a VIP chauffeur for 15 months. I was fortunate enough to drive everybody up to the Vice President, 4-star generals, Secretary of Defense, senators, congressmen. I knew wherever a government office building was in Washington, D.C., so politics is not really new to me. I came back out of the military and I started a construction company. I built houses for a couple of years. Then I got in the construction business. I've been in construction for over 30 years. 2000, I sold my business. I got elected as commissioner, served for 4 years. I had a lot of improvements to the county, and I've got some pictures in the back of things that we'd built. Cove Road Fire Department, Yellow Creek Fire Department, for Good Samaritan, the thrift store, food pantry. I developed that area. I enhanced 911 system, just numerous things. But the most important thing is I lowered the millage rate in the county 3 years in a row, which meant taxes dropped a little bit for 3 years in a row. And I'm asking for your help in the upcoming election because I'd like to see our millage rate be back below 6 mil and taxes go down to 17% they've increased in the last 12 years. A lot of improvements need to be done on the county roads. That's part of what I did for 30 years. I worked for Corps engineers, did DOT contracts, worked for Shaw Industry, Mohawk Industry for about 15 years. You don't work for those people for 15 years and not have a little experience. I'd like to bring that experience back to the county road system. I think we need to expand other things like our recreation systems. We've got a central recreation facility now. We've abandoned the east end and west ends of the county. There's children, families there, mothers or little children that would like to have a little playground or somewhere for the children to go without having to come to Jasper.
Your time's up, Bill.
I appreciate y'all's help. Thank you.
Mr. Rob Joe.
Thank y'all. I'm gonna kind of get off mine. I had something wrote out and I'm just gonna kind of get away from it here just a second. You guys have blessed me with the ability to serve for you for the last 12 years in this county, which is I guess a record in one sense, but it's been a blessing in another. Sole commissioner for 8 years here, chairman of the board of commissioners on the transition that you, the people, elected to put a multi-person board in, and I agreed to serve as chairman of the board on that point. Give you an update on my family real quick. Got my beautiful wife sitting back there. Me and her have been married approximately, well, about 45 years. It's been around. She's put up with me that long. Got 2 children, Chad Jones and Sonia Gossett. 6 grandchildren. And yes, they are grand no matter who's got them. You can always spoil them and take them home. I've got one now that really my mind has been dealing on for the last few days that she's in Scottish Rite. She's looking better. And I wish y'all would remember some of her players on her, my little 2-year-old. But even that being said, we're focusing here tonight on the fact that you are looking at individuals up and down here that are not after to strangle one another. We are here for the benefit of the county. Granted, it's a job. We put our lives out here and our personalities and our ability to work with you at the best of our ability. And it's a struggle. I can speak for myself being here for 12 years. And until you serve as a public official, you don't know what the heart is. And I agree with the fact that everyone ought to serve at least one term. But anyway, as my slogan is for this year, it's where we were, where we are, and where we're going. And I'm just going to bring a few bullet points in on where we're going. We are going in the next few years. We are looking at planning and have planned on increasing fire services to lower ISO ratings in the county. That helps with your lowering your increase on your insurance, bring it down, pretty good savings for a lot of people. With the SPLOST that you all have elected in here, a few years ago, we have got a plan. We had a citizens committee that put together a plan on paving roads. We paved quite a few roads last year, and we're fixing to hit quite a few this year. And I'm not going to get into all that, but be glad to talk to you about all the roads that are going to be paving for the next 2 or 3 years. And working with local communities for water resourcing, we have started the Kusawati for the fact that it was an authority that set up from 4 county entities. I'm the chairman of that entity that we're looking at pulling water out of Carter's Lake when and if that time comes. But also work with local communities here. Big Canoe, we have tied on water to Big Canoe. We are able to purchase water from them and sell water to Big Canoe. We are looking hopefully in the future tying water on to Bent Tree. But as we go on, the questions that can be asked, if you want to bring them back to me, thank you very much. And remember, May 2nd is when the election starts. May 24th, please vote. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody, for your participation. Now the inquisition starts. We're done with the radio station? Okay, got it. Okay. Test. So, y'all will be in charge of holding that up, right?
Got the microphone, Larry.
Okay, this is the first question that we've got, and this is for our folks on the school board. The question is, would you consider building one middle school versus two with the ROI and technology better for all students? And we'll start with Katherine.
Thank you. That's a great question. I know that this is kind of probably a subject that's been discussed and, it's in the paper, and I think it's one that there's some people that really believe one side strongly and one side the other. As far as the return of investment, what I can speak upon is only what I know educationally and what's best for students. I know that educationally that the studies that I've read, that smaller schools are what's best for our kids. Smaller schools, the studies have shown that smaller schools reduce student violence. They increase parent involvement. The dropout rates are lower. The participation rates of parents are higher. There were some studies done that showed that, it was a study that I read right here in the state of Georgia, that the size of the school decreased achievement scores. So what I can tell you is from an educational standpoint, I want what's best for our kids, what's best for our community, because what's best for our kids is best for our community. There's multiple reasons that I think that the smaller schools would be beneficial, and I think they outweigh some of the money savings that we might incur, and I'm not sure how much the savings would be to create one big school, because you would need a bigger property, and if you put it on the same property that Jasper Middle School is now, you would have to make a bigger school there, because that's a fair place to put it, and then the traffic is going to be awful. It's already bad. I take my daughter there every single morning.
You still got a little time.
But, like I said, from the standpoint as an educator, I would prefer to have a smaller school. It keeps your class sizes down. It keeps the amount of students milling around the halls down. You have less administrators are necessary in the school that if you make it a smaller school. And I just think that what we should do as far as saving money is important, but I think what being elected to the school board, as a school board member, what we do is what's best for kids. So if it saves us a tiny bit of money, is that worth being detrimental to our children and to our community? I don't think so. I moved here. Go ahead. Sorry. You're pushing the button there.
Yeah, not yet.
One of the reasons we moved to Jasper is because of the small town feel, the hometown feel. I wanted my children to grow up in a place where they were got to experience that. And if we make our schools bigger and bigger and bigger, we're going to lose a little bit of that hometown feel that I think that we strive to have here in Jasper.
Yeah, now you're running out of time.
Thank you.
Okay. Larry, you were next, and I would encourage you guys that if you don't want the whole 3 minutes, don't feel like you have to use it. If you can say it in 45 seconds and be happy with it, I'll hit stop and go to the next. So, I'm just saying, be comfortable, but don't feel like you got to fill time, because,
Read the question again, please.
Yes, sir. Would you consider building one middle school versus two with the ROI and technology better for all students?
Well, I agree with Katherine on everything she said. I think it's the smaller schools, you have more contact with the children. And I think smaller classrooms, you would have better contact with the children. So that's all I can add to what Katherine said.
Good deal. Mike?
Very good question, whoever turned that in. Personally, I would be in favor of building one middle school. This is why. I honestly feel like that 6th through 8th grade doesn't need to be in the same building. I think we should have a middle school that has 7th and 8th, and I think that we should have a, I don't know what kind of school we call it, that has 5th and 6th in it. And we have pre-K through 4th in elementary schools. I think that it would be an advantage to our students to have something like that. I can tell you that no matter who wins this election, it will be 5 people making the decision, and there has to be a consensus of all 5 board members on what to do. It's hard when you're running for office after you've been on the school board for 4 years you're so used to making sure that you don't try to state that you are speaking for the school board, because you can't do that as a school board individual. So it's hard to be able to differentiate between Mike Cowart running for office and Mike Cowart being on the school board now. Well, this is Mike Cowart running for office, and this is what I believe. And the other 4 board members can have their own opinion. But I would like to see us look at that as one of the options. There are several options that should be looked at. I don't think we need to, I think it would be wrong if we didn't look at everything under the sun when it comes to building this. And I also think that we need to plan whatever it is we do, not for the immediate fix, but plan for something that's going to work for the next 10, 15, 20 years. We don't need to waste the taxpayers' money. We need to really think about what we're going to do with this.
Okay, if you'll pass We'll get up first, okay? And like I said, just don't feel like you got to fill the whole 3 minutes unless you just absolutely need to. It's okay. Need some water? Okay. In a recent article in Pickens Progress, there was a discussion about the stagnant economic environment in Pickens County, which does not seem to exist in surrounding counties and cities. Some good examples are the development along 515 in East Allijay, the bustling downtown area of Blue Ridge, and more recently, the development in the downtown area of Ball Ground. What do you see as the opportunity and the role of the Commissioner's Office in helping to develop long-term economic growth in Pickens County? We'll start with Bill.
Okay. This area, is this working?
Yeah.
Okay. 515, and the comprehensive plan designates the area north and south on 515 as commercial and industrial and retail. Everybody probably knows that I've worked individually to try to create businesses and bring them to Jasper, create jobs. And I believe the county, for some reason, people just don't want to come to Jasper. I sell real estate too, and we can't, we've tried to beg builders to come, developers to come and create jobs, businesses, but for some reason, we can't even beg them to come. Because every job that comes creates more revenue for the county. And if we don't grow the digest, and that's what we would do, we grow the digest with new development and construction. Cost of living, cost of everything keeps going up. If we don't have an additional amount of revenue coming in to offset that, then we as taxpayers are going to pay more. It's just the way, it's just the way it is. I think as a commissioner, we need to research out different areas to try to create and bring in more jobs and more businesses. It took us 5 years to do the Walmart project here. We fought the county, which tried to close 2 separate roads on us. Took 5 years to get our permits, $500,000. Well, we finally got Walmart to come. Everybody else has backed out, the economy went down. I checked, Walmart pays about $100,000 a year in property tax. About $75,000 of that goes to the schools, or 70. In order to help the county, we have to have a certain amount of growth. If it wasn't for that, I'd like to see Pickens County stay like it was in the 50s or 60s. But life is not that way. We have to change with times. We have to have more development. And it's something we need to control. You know, we don't want to be influxed. We don't want to look like 41 down Marietta. But we do need something to create jobs in our county. All the children that graduate here, you've got over 50 or 60% of them that have to go out of the county to find a job. My daughter had to go to Cherokee County to find a teaching job. We're just not doing enough as a whole. It may not be just left up to the commissioners. There's a lot of smart people in Pickens County that might know someone that might help get a business started here. Probably in the 90s, we developed Mountain City Business Park. I was one of 6 partners, I think. Now, if you go out there, there's 35 buildings, over 400 jobs. There's no large amount, big company, but they're all small. They got employees, and that's what we need to do.
Okay. Mr.
Back in the late 80s, early 90s, Pickens County and the city of Jasper formed a joint economic development organization at that time. And back about 97, it kind of went into disrepair for one reason or another. But as of about 3.5 years ago, we have instituted that organization again. And with board members sitting from the city of Jasper and board members sitting from the county, we have formed a joint economic development association here for Pickens County and the city of Jasper. We pooled our forces and our funds and hired an economic development director, who at this time is Mr. Jerry Nectatal, that is actually come from CSX Railroad. The biggest thing we have going on here in Pickens County is, number one, most of the buildings here in Pickens County are either leased, rented, or sold. There's some new construction going on under the Mountain Industrial Park there off of 108. We have got about around 3 or 4 buildings less than 10,000 square feet that are still available. The biggest thing we focus on, of course, through the Chamber of Commerce and the tourism, film industry, and the industrial recruitment. And under industrial recruitment, what we have done here, especially around the George Model Company around Tate, because that has been really a backward glide for many, many years. We've been in what they call an opportunity zone and an enterprise zone. And what that does, that helps businesses that want to come in that area that meet the qualifications get a tax abatement that is not funded by the citizens of Pickens County, but it's actually a tax abatement that is funded by the state of Georgia. So it doesn't come off your revenue of the county. We have got a big development fixed to go in around Piedmont Hospital called Piedmont Village. It has been announced at the last Chamber of Commerce meeting. You're looking at proposed mixed-use development on property surrounding the hospital. We're looking at assisted living, retail, 2 hotel pads, medical offices, and amenities such as a small amphitheater that are looking at there. Of course, we're still looking at the 2 screen drive-in theaters based on off of Old Camp Road, adjacent now to what is the vacant Lawson Chevrolet property. We are fortunate that we have on the Pickens-Gilmer County line, we have wound up acquiring approximately 300-something acres for mountain bike trails that is privately owned, but sooner or later will be donated to Pickens County. That is a growing area for mountain bike trails in this county. Also, the purchase of approximately 348 more acres off of 136 above Grandview Lake that we are using for passive recreation, walking, and also it protects the watershed of the city of Jasper, which is now approximately 1,000 acres that is involved in that. Business is coming. Building permits have picked up. We were up to about 54 building permits here this last month. So things are starting to turn. The economy's starting to get better. We just got to keep plugging along. Thank you.
I'm sorry, pass that on down. Mark's going to be first. Okay, coroner operations are very important and require tact and discretion. There are also times when a death investigation requires more significant resources. Would you support a regional medical examiner that is used by several counties that offloads the GBI, where the results can take 6 months to get, or 6 months to a year to get back, to something more local in conjunction with the coroner? And Mark, you got the first 3 minutes.
I'd like to know who sent that question in. They need to be running for coroner. That's a good question, and I learned a long time ago, if you don't know the answer, say you don't know the answer. And a lot of what the coroner does is the county coroner answers to the budget that's approved by the commissioners, and what they're referring to is a crime lab or a medical examiner's office locally. That's the state mandated, state operated facility. And my understanding was there was one in the past in North Georgia, and due to budget constraints, it was cut, done away with. That's why we have to drive to Decatur when we refer someone to the GBI crime lab for test results. So am I copping out? I don't have an answer for that.
No, sir.
And I can't do anything about it until I'm elected. And when I am elected, then we can discuss it further.
Okay. Bradley?
Yes, sir. Live and on.
Yes, sir, you're done.
Like Mark just said, the regional medical examiners, they've discussed that for many years, having like a variation of counties. But to get a doctor who is experienced in forensic pathology, it would create, I feel like it would create such a financial burden on the county, even if it was split with like 3 or 4 counties. Just to give you an example, I think Dr. Burton, when he was a medical examiner in Cobb County, I think they paid him like $750,000 to run the medical examiner's office in Cobb County, which is a whole lot larger than we are here. But I'm saying it's going to be a very expensive thing. My personal feelings are that the county, for what they pay the coroners, how we're trained, and what we do, we report to the state medical examiner's office. I still say for the size that we are, the coroner system still is the best way.
Okay, thank you.
And that's it.
Okay, Darrin, the next one is for you and David. What is our current collection rate as to taxes owed? What is the plan to be in the 95% of taxes? And what type of technology improvements will you implement to reduce costs, improve efficiency, as well as privacy of taxpayers? Darrin, you got the first 3 minutes.
We're almost 99% across the board, but not completely. We just got to continue to strive and do what we're doing. It's been brought to everyone's attention that what we're doing is unethical in our form of collection with taking partial payments. But when the bottom fell out of the economy several years back, we had to do something to bring the money in. You know, it's working. They're paying the interest, they're paying the penalties, they're meeting their obligation and paying the taxes. So, you know, when you have a family coming to you and they're out of losing a job, losing an income, spouse, whatever, and they stress a hardship, you've got to do what you have to do to be able to bring those taxes in and just make it work.
Okay.
Well, I agree with my opponent, but you must have the ordinance passed by the governing body. No matter how good your intentions are, if it's not the law, then you're breaking it. So what I would do is I would be over there in front of whichever commissioner is elected, and I would be at every meeting telling them we need to pass the ordinance to make it legal. That is the best thing to do, because what happens when you lose your house, but somebody else is able to keep it, there's going to be a problem. And as far as the efficiencies, my intentions, as Darrin knows, is not to replace anybody currently there, and to work with the people who know how to do the job and get their input on how to make things run better. Because leadership means listening to other people. And that's what I would do. Listen to them, enter the information that I've gathered, being in public service and private, and work to make things better. As he's stated many of the things that are needed. And, you know, I applaud that. That's it.
Okay, if you'll pass the mic down to the end, that'd be great. By the way, you folks that have nice, brief, wonderful answers, those are great. That means that we can all get home sooner.
You gave me the mic.
Do what?
You gave me the mic.
Get that way from him. The first one's for Katherine, actually.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, this is something that's kind of near and dear to my heart, so I'm going to read this one real care. I've got some folks on the back row that are going to perk up when they hear this. There are senior citizens in Pickens County who would like to see the elimination of school taxes on property for citizens 65 and over. They've even gone so far as to advertise in the Pickens Progress. This advertisement seems to be self-serving and presents a negative view of Pickens County. Here's a question for the Board of Education candidates. What would be the impact on our school system if the school tax on property was eliminated for those over 65, and would you support the removal of the property taxes? Katherine?
That is a great question, and I was prepared for that because I've already received an email from our Pickens for Seniors for Change. So, you know, it is a tough question, and I do feel like, you know, when you said, you know, the self-serving, or the question was mentioned that as Americans, and especially this is a GOP debate, we all feel like we probably are taxed too much. And so I feel like it is a fair question, and it is a fair thing that they're seeking. You know, we get taxed on stuff we've already paid taxes on, you know, death taxes. So I understand the plight. As a teacher, it's a hard one for me to answer, though. And you know, after I decided to run for the board, and I received that question by email, I went and did some research to see, you know, what exactly the responsibility of a board member is. And, you know, after looking at the Board of Education's responsibilities, the ethics, the BOE ethics that we're set to uphold, I didn't really see anything in there where it is the Board of Education's responsibility to enact a exemption for seniors, for the seniors of the county. You know, I can even state from the Georgia Constitution what it says about, you know, what our responsibility as a Board of Education member is. It says the governing authority of any county or municipality, that's my hard word, subject to the approval of majority of the qualified electors of such political subdivision voting in a referendum thereon. Well, the Board of Education is not a governing authority. We do not govern the county. We are in charge of the school system. We're in charge of maintaining schools, electing or picking leaders to lead the Board of Education. So, asking me whether I would support that, is that what the question was, support?
Right.
It's hard for me to say because I really don't know what the impact would be at this point. I do know that we have 19% of our population is 65 or over, so I'm not sure how much. I don't know if a study's been done, and I'm not sure it's a fair question to ask at this point without some more research to be done. I know in DeKalb County, they've recently passed it's a sunset provision, and you know, that's something where they have time to figure out exactly what a tax cut would do before they make it a law. So if I was in favor of anything, would not be doing something rash to begin with. It would be something that I would have to think really hard about, do some research on, and it would be something where I would have maybe something like the sunset before I would do the law. So, thank you.
If I could point out that the counties to the north and the south of us both have provisions for people 65 and over with regards to school taxes. So it ain't rocket surgery, but
They have
we need to look.
They have more industry too.
Well, talk to these guys. Larry, here.
We've got one too in Pickens County, don't forget that. I know.
Larry.
Since I'm a senior citizen myself, I would like to see that happen. But if you take X amount of dollars out of the school system, where do you replace it from? You raise the taxes on everybody else in the county to replace that money that you took out. So I don't know what the answer to that is. It's like she said.
Larry,
Georgia.
speak into the mic.
Pardon?
Speak into the mic, you're not getting out.
Am I do all that over again? So I don't know what they would get the money to replace what they get. I would like to see that happen.
Test. You're not getting in here.
The beard. Did y'all hear anything? Did y'all hear anything?
I heard you.
Well, that's all I have to say.
Mike? Okay, I'll try to talk into it.
Good job.
It's hard to do because you have to hold it. Personally, I would like to see something changed with the senior tax that does not affect the children. One of the reasons why I want the state to help us put more money into our school system is so that something like that can be looked at. I don't want someone that's on a Social Security income to have to do without something in order to pay taxes. It is going to be a long, difficult, gut-wrenching decision that will be made by the school board. I know some people, Katherine was talking about, don't know if it's the school board's job or not, but we are in charge of the budget of the school system. So I look at it as it's not a long stretch for us to ensure that we have the money to run the school system the way that it needs to be run. And we are the ones that, if there is a senior tax break, we are the ones that will have to come up with the money somewhere else. It's not a hard math equation like what Larry said. Our budget is $42 million. We have to collect $42 million somewhere. I would like for it to be fair and equal. But like I said, it's something that is, I've been talking with the group of seniors, and I think they get irritated with me sometimes, but it's something that it's going to take a long time to figure out the best way to do it, because when I took the oath of office as a board member, I made sure that I understood that I was to represent and take care of the children. Thank you.
Pass it down to Billy. I'm sorry.
I get called a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what elected office is all about.
Dinner.
Okay, this next question is for our commissioner candidates. What would you do to reduce reliance on TAN loans as well as ensure that all department heads and constitutional officers are being fiscally responsible for their budgets. As part of the question, what would you do to bring technology that improves efficiency, reduce overall costs, and allows transparency to government operations? Billy?
Well, to begin with, I was in construction, like I said, for 30 years. If you're out there scratching a living out with, just scratching it out of the dirt day by day, you learn to cut corners. I see some different areas of the county that we might save a little money. Workman's comp insurance, for instance. If you've never paid it, you don't know what it's like. There's things that you can do to save money. Our employees on the road departments, water departments, they don't have safety vests, they don't have hard hats. When your auditors come and look at the things that you've got and don't have, that determines your rate on your workman's comp. And it goes from that on up to other things. Our county vehicles. I had a plan in 2004, we bought new ambulances. We bought heavy duty trucks. Our plan was every time we had to replace our ambulances after they had 100,000 miles on them, to take the body off, take the truck to the road department. Don't buy a new truck to the road department. You can go anywhere in the county from the workshop and you're not over 20 miles. Why do you have to buy a $40,000, $50,000 vehicle when you're not traveling over 20 miles from your workshop? There's just different things that you can do to cut costs. Every time you cut $1 here, it adds up. The more you cut, the less taxes you pay. It's just people that are in business, everybody's in business, and went through the same thing. I see contractors out here, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Everybody can't just have a new vehicle. It don't work that way. Somebody has to pay for it. It's the taxpayers. As far as I'm concerned, my back's been pretty loaded, with taxes, and a lot of other people. It's the commissioner's job to come up with a budget that suits all the department heads, all the other elected officials. The commissioner's not the king over them. He has to work with it. 4 years, I never had a problem. We came within budget 4 years. We've lowered the millage rate every year. It's just a matter of working together, keeping a tight rein on things. If elected, I plan on going back to the same process. We're not buying new vehicles every year for the road department when they don't need them. I didn't buy new vehicles when I was in business. I drive a truck now with 200,000 miles on it. If I can do it, why can't the road department do it? That's just some of the things, and I'm sure if I was in office, I can see other things that we can probably cut without jeopardizing the quality of services that we provide.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jones, sir.
Ask me the same question again.
Ask it again? Okay.
I got confused on some of that.
No, that's all right. What would you do to reduce reliance on TAN loans, as well as ensure that all department heads and constitutional officers are being fiscally responsible with their budgets? As part of the question, what will you do to bring technology that improves efficiency, reduces overall costs, and allows transparency to government operations?
What we've done here in Pickens County, to the fact over the last few years, is work with the fact that TAN is used for cash flow. And we have had this discussion many years ago, and with the grants that we do, that we hand from all 3 counties, the TAN that we use helps finance that $3 million worth of grants that we have. Pickens County has to front the money up front for the neighboring counties. But we were in the process of working with the other elected officials to weed that part down to the fact to kind of spread the love and let other ones do that. Now, that being said, cutbacks that we've already cut back, went from 38 to 20 in the road department. There's no new trucks over other than the one that we had to replace that got burned up the other day. So those are issues that we're getting through. Ken would be glad, Ken Quinton, the director, would be glad to show you any vehicle out there. It's all open process. But we're working closely with the unelected officials. The financial meetings that we have are open to the public. The three-person board that we've got is staying very close to the overall budget. As a matter of fact, we had a 5:30 meeting today that had the audit, and the audit that was working on the audit for this year, as well as Ms. Hardy was giving us a report on the budget items that we've got, and every department is staying well under budget and doing well to that point. So those are items that we're doing, is trying to do cost savings, workman's comp insurance. We've had a lot of cutbacks on that. And the retirement plan is another one that we had to rework because the county taxpayers are paying 100% of the retirement plan of the employees. So we worked on that, try to make it a better plan and then let them put some investment in it. Those are issues that we've been working on.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, if you will pass that down to Mark. Good deal.
Y'all be careful, boys.
Okay. What type of technology and resources do you think needs to be implemented and utilized by the coroner's office? It'd be good to get an annual report for stakeholders and citizens at large.
Don't quite know what they mean by the annual report, unless they want statistics of deaths and reasons for it. But as far as technology and modern things, we're still using a fax machine, fax death certificates. To me, that could be replaced, with attachments and emails. But there is a coroner's office in the administration building, but it hasn't been fully utilized, and there's a reason for that. Is the current coroner has used a lot of his time and money and efforts using his own facilities in lieu of that. So whoever wins this race, there's going to have to be some new measures taken to upgrade the coroner's office financially and physically. Like I said, I plan to do some things on that if elected. First things first is to get elected. The current coroner's term lasts till January, and he's still in charge. And we will submit, if I am elected or whoever's elected, a budget will have to be submitted for the next fiscal year. And I'm sure that the winning candidate and the current coroner, he's promised to help either one that does win work in the transition. And we would get together and plan for that new budget. So that's a good question. Technology changes all the time. Just think about how many cell phones you've had in the last year. So why would it behoove us to use it in the coroner's office to cut costs and to make things faster, more efficient? And that's the bottom line, to help the people that's waiting on a death certificate in the mail or a fax or something like that. If we make it more efficient and more timely for them to process their insurance or whatever they need to do to probate it, then that's something we need to look at.
Good deal. Thanks. Now, Brad?
Okay, the state has gone to, it's called the Cowart system. Medical personnel, doctor's offices and things like this may know what I'm talking about there. Everything's done electronically. You can go now, if you had a family member to die in Fulton County, you can go to the probate office in Pickens County and pick up that death certificate. You no longer got to go through Fulton County. It's done at the state level, and they can log into the state. Anybody that's authorized to do it can get a death certificate from anywhere. I think that technology has brought us a long ways. Other than that, I thought we've got a nearly brand new vehicle that I was very instrumental in getting it purchased and also getting it equipped. Like Mark said, these things it's got to be changed, because I know the current coroner, he has supplied that office with several different things that he or I, neither one, are going to have access to. And I don't, and I'm sure when his time's up, Coroner, he's not going to want people to sponge off him. He said it's going to have to be up to the coroner's office to stand on its own 2 feet at that point. other than those items that I mentioned, I don't think, if it's not really broke, we don't need to be trying to fix it. I say above the coroner's office to a high standard, but far as trying to bankrupt the county, because the coroner's office is not a revenue-making office for the county. It becomes more of a liability as far as the financial part of the county, because it don't bring any kind of income at all.
Alrighty, we'll pass that down to Darrin. Okay. Will you allow the unfair practice of allowing some property owners to pay their taxes on payments while not providing this to all citizens, as is currently being done in the tax office? How would you address this unfair and discriminatory practice?
First of all, it's available to anyone that comes into the office and expresses a hardship. We don't discriminate. Like I said, anyone that comes in and expresses they're having a hardship, they need help. When I have a mother come in and tell me that her husband dropped dead with a massive heart attack, she takes her $2 to Goodwill the next day to buy them a dress for their father's funeral. The daughter drops dead with a brain aneurysm. It's just her and her other daughter left, and wants to know what we can do to help them out. There's no law that says we can, there's no law that says we can't. Out of 159 counties in Georgia, 90% of the counties are already doing this procedure. So if they come in and they stress a hardship and they need help, I'm here because of the people, and I'm going to work with the people. Thank you.
Mr. Leister.
Well, he's absolutely correct in his feelings that that is what you do for people who need help. The problem is there is a law that says you cannot do any type of partial payments unless it's been approved. Now, I, as I said before, would work with the Board of Commissioners to make sure they pass the ordinance that allows him and me to do it legally, because that's what needs to be done. It's not a matter of I can choose not to do it or I can choose to do it. If the law says you can't, you can't. And right now, that's exactly what it says. I can't question his motives, and motives are correct. But there is no ordinance in Pickens County that says anything about partial payments. That's it.
Thank you, sir. If you would give the mic to Katherine, please. Well, this one's going to be a little interesting because we're going to, all three of you are going to get different questions. So, Katherine, what is your vision regarding our schools?
My vision regarding the schools, that's a good question also. As a teacher, of course, I have my own vision for schools, being in the classroom and being with children and working with parents for the last 14 years. Of course, I have my own vision of what I think a school or a school system should look like. But it's really not about my vision. It's about our vision as a county. It's about all the people in our community and what our vision together should be. I believe that if I were elected, I would want to have open communication and open dialogue with all the people in the community that are affected by our schools and that are involved in our schools. It's really important to me to know what parents want and to be able to speak to parents in the community to better form a vision that's best for all of us here in the county. I would want to talk to teachers, ask teachers, have an open dialogue with all the teachers here in the school and have them truly tell me how they feel and what they want in our schools and how can we best help them. The teachers are on the battleground every day, and I think sometimes we neglect to ask them what they would like and what they need to be most successful in their classrooms. There's lots of people that make policies and pass laws and do things without asking teachers and asking us what we think, how it would affect us in our classrooms. So I would like to speak to teachers to ask them, what is your vision for our schools? How can we best help you? And I would like them to be able to speak without fear of retribution. I've spoken to so many teachers in our county that are scared to say anything or scared to say what they disagree with. And I would like that not to be the case. I would like for them to tell me what they agreed or disagreed with me, and I would love to hear their opinions that they disagree with me with, because that just means that maybe I don't know something and they need to tell me so I can maybe agree with them. You know, differing opinions are not always a bad thing to hear. You know, the main thing that I would like to see is power restored back to our schools and back to our teachers. I would like to see, as a classroom teacher for so long, I would like to see micromanagement stop. I would like to see, being able to just teach again. I want to be with my kids. I want for them to not have to take tests constantly, and I would love to see administrators trusted in the school system and teachers trusted to do their jobs. We're professionals, went to school to do this. We're the ones with the kids every single day. I think that we need to make sure that we increase the awareness of the benefits of technical school. We have a great technical school right here that we're in. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
This is something I'm really passionate about.
Yeah, I've shared something personal real quick. I actually had asked one of our teachers in our high school, I said, you know, I think it's just absolutely morally wrong that you have to reach into your pocket and pull out money in order to buy supplies for your students. I said, why is that? She looked me dead in the eye and said, because people like you won't vote for higher taxes. It's all my fault, folks. Larry, this one's for you. Okay. What 3 things would you do to ensure that our schools can personalize learning and the environment for all students, which is directly dependent on class size?
Read that again, sir.
Yes, sir. What 3 things would you do to ensure that our schools can personalize learning and the environment for all students, which is directly dependent upon class size?
Well, I'd like to see the teachers to be able to spend more time with the students. They spend so much time doing paperwork, which lots of it's not the county's fault. It's mandated with the state. And so if you just look down there in the evenings, you'll see teachers sitting down there doing work at school. On Saturday and Sunday, they're down there working, doing work. That should be time that they are doing classwork instead of doing all this paperwork and mandated with the state.
Thank you. Mike, this one's for you. How can you ensure voters that PCSD will remain effective teachers and administrators when a record number of highly qualified people have resigned in the past few years?
Okay, gotta go again.
Okay, let me stop this. How can you ensure voters that Pickens County School, PCSD, okay, will remain effective, and that teachers and administrators, when a record number of highly qualified people have resigned in the past few years?
Well, first of all, it's not just in Pickens County with the problem of teachers leaving the profession and or retiring as soon as they possibly can. I do attribute a lot of that to the fact that the new Ticks and Leaks system and the unfair grading of teachers with test scores are a lot of the problem. The thing that I can ensure the teachers of is if the governor signs House Bill, I think it was 364, then that puts even more power back into our school board the state of Georgia does not hire anyone in Pickens County. The school board approves what is recommended to them, and I can assure you that I would like to see it to where the teachers understand that it really doesn't matter what the state does and what the state wants from us as far as grades, as far as scores on, their TIM scores and all that. We know who our good teachers are, and we want to retain them. And we want to attract some of the best teachers in the state. The only way you can do that is by getting the word out, and the fact that we do appreciate our teachers and that we do understand the hardships that they've had. And there needs to be a trust. It's not going to affect your employment with us. There's way more things that go into it than a score that you get. It's just like there's way more things that go into the child's education for the year other than the test score.
Good deal. Okay, this is for our tax commissioners. Darrin, you get the first shot at this. As the county has to borrow money, TAN, for operations, could tax collection dates be adjusted or any other measures taken by the tax commissioner's office to improve cash flow of operations?
No.
Okay.
I have to agree with them again. It is no. But we need to fine tune how we're collecting and make sure that we're not creating other issues that are going to take away from the general funds.
Good deal. I like this one quick. Okay, this next one, we're just going to run down the line. Katherine, you need to have that mic in your hand. Okay, and this question's going to be the same for everybody. What, in your opinion, is the purpose of civil government?
The purpose of civil government in the respect, and I'm going to take that as a general question, is civil government.
Sure.
We're in an election year, and one of the most important purposes, in my opinion, is keeping us safe. The purpose of civil government is to protect our borders and to make sure that we American citizens are the most protected country in the world, and that we have the best systems in place and the best militaries in place to take care of us. Number one, it's our freedoms and our ability to live the way that we as Americans live. The other thing that I think civil government is for is to make and enforce laws. I think that it is important that we serve justice and protect the people. Civil government also should protect humanity and foster peace within our communities. I can tell you one thing that civil government is not supposed to do. One of your illustrious candidates for president of redistribution of wealth should definitely not be a part of.
Amen.
Just in case you want to know what I don't think it is, that's what I don't think it is.
Good deal. All righty. Larry Cantrell, same question.
Well, civil government, I think that the foreign policy and to protect our borders and the military is all that they're supposed to do.
Mike?
When it pertains to education, I feel like civil government is, the federal government needs to leave it all to the states. Don't want to bring a little recession. As far as all the way down to the local level, I look at it I want to take it a little different, and that is, I think as a board member and as our school system, we have a responsibility to the county, to the city, and all other entities of our county to have the best school system that we can possibly have, to attract people, to get people to want to come to Pickens County and to want to serve in Pickens County. That's about the best tie-in I can think of what the role of the board member would be as far as the local level of the civil government.
Good deal. Mark Godfrey, come on down.
Same question?
Yes, sir, same question for all of our folks.
Civil government, civil means citizens, so that would be government of the citizens, and that brings to mind one of my favorite presidents, and I'm sure all the people here were all Republicans, or we wouldn't be here. Abraham Lincoln said, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, and that's what that means. However, our system is not strictly just a democracy. We have an independent democracy. We elect people to express our wishes on our behalf. That's why we have elections. So, in its true, literal sense, the civil government is the government of the people. But if all the people ran for office, we wouldn't get anything done. So we had to come up with a system. The founding fathers came up with an independent democracy. So, thank you, whoever sent that in. I taught social studies.
All righty, Bradley.
I think the civil duties, we should, as the people, go back to some of our values, either in school, go back to some of the roots. I know with modern technology and everything, that's totally probably going to be unheard of, but I think we need to go back to the values of our fathers and forefathers placed on us, because I know, believe me, when I misbehaved as a kid, there was a lot of abuse going on back in that time. Just never was characterized. So I think we need to go back to some of our values, and I think America would be a better place to live.
Same question.
Right. I think it all starts at home. I think it's your morals and your values and how you're brought up to believe. And I just think everyone should learn to love and respect and appreciate everybody for who they are. We're all different. And that's basically it. Just how I was brought up. Just love and appreciate, respect everyone, how you want to be treated.
David?
Okay. Civil government in all levels is here to provide us protection, and we are here to ensure that we're protected from the government. What we want to do is make sure that we're involved, that we care and investigate who's running. And fortunately for all of us, we have good people running for office. But the basic thing is stay out of my life, stay out of my pocket, and just make sure that we're safe.
Good answer.
I guess civil government would be a little different for everyone. Everybody's thought might be a little different. My thought is that civil government is elected officials that we elect. We send them to Washington, we send them to the state of Georgia, we send them here to Pickens County. And what's happened, this is my opinion, from the top down, we've got elected officials, when they get in office, they start thinking about themselves instead of the public, the people that elected them. That's what happened in our country. Elected officials, from the president down, are the responsibility to defend this country, defend the Constitution. As an ex-military person, we take an oath to defend the country against all aggression, foreign and domestic. Sometimes I begin to wonder whether we've got more aggression inside the country than we do outside the country. When politicians start thinking of themselves, instead of the constituents that elected them, the people. Something happened to our republic then. I believe we need to, you know, if we could clean the house would be my idea, but we can't do that. And I don't know how we can reaffirm the commitments that they have and get them to reaffirm the commitments that they have when they seek office and they're supposed to represent the general public, everyone. And the fact that they need to treat everyone alike, you know. And if I'm elected, and I've got friends here, if they expect something special, they need to vote for somebody else. Whether you've got $10 in your pocket or 10,000, I'm going to treat you the same. And that's what I think all politicians should do. And I'm not saying that's not happening, but that's my philosophy. We're all created equally. We all ought to be treated equally. Rich, poor, black, white, whatever. We need to be treated equally because that's what the Constitution says. You know, if I'm elected, I'm going to try my best to treat everyone just alike. So anybody wants to vote for me and they expect something special, they need not to vote for me because I'm going to treat everybody just alike, rich and poor. And I appreciate everyone being here. And I'm glad we're all Republicans. James and Washington.
Mr. Jones, sir.
Well, they're correct. Civil government is governed by the civilians thereof. A single individual cannot achieve what a group can do. And that's why government was formed. So we can offer services to the masses. The ones that can't do as well as the ones that have done well, all raised equally in those effects. You know, to be an individual and try to keep the roads paved, try to run fire trucks, try to run the sheriff's department, those issues are what you have to gather together as a government, and that's what civil government means to me. And how these individuals and myself sitting here on this line right here govern that process, because we're a representative democracy. You can't, each and every one cannot sit up and down this table right here. We're considered a representative democracy. You elect the individuals that you think is best for this position. And that's what we're hoping and praying that you do, is pick out the best ones, whether it's me, whether it's my opponent. I've got 12 years invested in this job. It has been very rewarding, and I do appreciate everyone sitting here and bearing with us and listening to a group of politicians speak on. You all have been very patient. But civil government is what we have strived for, is what our forefathers have strived for, and that's what we've got, and we need to keep the process going as they had set up in the beginning. But thank you very much for this evening, and glad to see everybody here. Thank you.
That's about all the time we got for questions this evening, so we're going to wrap this up and send you folks home. Thank you for being so patient, and Ron here is going to basically take us out of here.
First, I want to, like Craig said, I want to thank everybody for coming out. It was a great turnout. I want to thank all our board here, all the participants in the debate tonight. I think everybody did a great job. First off, I want to say thanks for getting involved. I think it's important. I think that shows that you're concerned about what's going on in the county. I want to thank Dan Poole from the Pickens Progress for being out here and covering this event tonight. I want to thank Mary from No Pickens for being here videoing. I want to thank Matt from WYYZ who did part of the earlier stuff. Just a little self-broadcast. If you have some issues that you want to talk about, we have a radio program called the Patriotic Dragon Radio Show that's broadcast every Thursday afternoon from Rocco's on WYYZ, or it's taped every Thursday afternoon at YYZ. See Mr. Will Bell back there, and you can get on his show and he tapes it. It's usually played back on Saturday on WYYZ. So I want to put a plug in there. Alan, who came in late, Alan Whittington back in the back, so he did show up finally, so I know he was that busy. I do want to make a couple of plugs. If you want to get involved, you know, be active, be involved. We have Ms. Kimberly Hofstadler is starting a Pickens County Women's Republican group. If you want to be involved from the ladies' side, see Ms. Kimberly, she's getting that formed up. If you want to see what we do on a monthly basis, we meet the second Tuesday. Executive committee meets the second Tuesday of each month usually at the administration building in at the admin building in the conference room there. You're welcome to come out and see what we do. We appreciate what we're doing. We're very visible about that. What's more important though is you guys are here because you care, okay? Tell your neighbors to get off their lazy butts and get out and vote, okay? Apathy is not an option in this election, okay? We've seen what we got in the last 8 years because Republicans stayed home. Tell them to get out and vote, okay? I'm serious about that. That's the reason I'm involved, because I am sick and tired of what we've had going on in this country for the last 8 years, okay? Be sure, vote for these people. They're critical to Pickens County. Support Rick and his group at the state level, but surely get out and vote for our candidate, whoever that may be, coming out of the conference, the Republican convention in Cleveland. Get out and tell your neighbors to get out and vote also. It's important that we do that, and we want to appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you for supporting the Republican Party in Pickens County. If you need something, we have a great website, Pickens County GOP. We're on Facebook. You can call me. You can call anybody around. I promise you I'll answer the phone. If not, I'll get back to you within 24 hours. I'm not afraid to answer your questions, and I will take whatever comes out. So appreciate everybody for coming out tonight. Be safe going home. I'm not sure the roads are wet. And again, thanks everybody for your attendance here. Last but not least, I want to thank Craig for the great job he did keeping everybody entertained.